and welcome to the last pre-Christmas know-it-all. Perhaps you can tell by the hats. Sure, I mean, it's a little bit early, but we'll take our festive where we can get it. I'm Ashley Jenkins.
And I'm Meg Turney. As per usual, we'll run you through the headlines of this week's biggest news stories for video games, entertainment, tech, and science. We'll keep it brief, but hey, if you want more details, just click the annotation or the link in the description, and we'll take you to the full news update with all the little details. As with that, let's get started. Breakfall Games, the company behind Starwall Just the Tip, announced this week that they're going all Rabbi Tuckman on us and nipping the tip, referring to the game from now on as simply Starwall. The reason for the change was twofold. First, because the game is decidedly family-friendly, but the subtitle of the game was a little more winky-winky, and the developer worried that that would hinder sales. The second reason was a little more controversial and had to do with the sexual connotations of the phrase Just the Tip, making some fans and other professionals uncomfortable. Some commenters asserted that this was yet another example of people just getting offended over nothing, while some others countered that this was a professional move in anticipation for the game's console release. You can share your opinion in the comments down below.
Rockstar has finally, 14 months after they were expected to launch, detailed heists for GTA Online, while at the same time flipping the bird to fans who've been waiting for it all this time. The studio dropped a new trailer for the feature, which started out with Lester saying, "I know you've been complaining, but you weren't ready." Fuck you too, Rockstar. The details they revealed include a maximum of 4 players in a heist team, and that the team leader will have to pony up the dough to finance all the missions. The feature will launch with 5 different heists, totaling about 20 missions, and oh, what was that they said? That the heist would be ready for the first update after the Xbox One and PS4 versions came out? Yeah. Nah, you'll get it sometime early next year and you'll be happy about it. Merry Christmas.
Rockstar is spreading some Christmas cheer though with a new GTA Online update that brings all sorts of holiday fun to the drive-bys, hit and runs, and even cat stompings, Gavin, you commit in Los Santos. New vehicles, festive holiday masks, and weapons have been added, including a homing missile launcher, which should have been called the homing missile launcher, or even the homing missile toe launcher, you know, if someone on Rockstar were remotely on their game. There will also be random snow drifts in the city, so you can gather up all your friends for snowball fights. It's so magical. And listen, I'm not trying to be shady or anything, but you could tell your friends you want to do a snowball fight and then murder everyone in cold blood. Just saying.
In other happier, we're not mad at them update news, Minecraft has just dropped a huge surprise update for the console versions of the game. Well, the Xbox 360 and Xbox One versions so far. The update is currently in testing at Sony and will be released on PS3, PS4, and Vita as soon as they're approved, which will hopefully be next week. The update adds a bunch of long-awaited features that PC players have already been familiar with and are probably pretty smug about, including rideable horses, donkeys, and mules. New mobs include the Wither skeleton, and Witch, and new items include beacons, nether stars, hoppers and droppers, colored clay, fireworks, weighted pressure plates, daylight sensors, and a ton more, but mostly horses. And horse armor. Shout out to Oblivion.
In what I would call one of the most unexpected gaming mashups of this year at least, Minecraft developer Mojang has announced that they're partnering with Telltale Games to create a story-driven Minecraft game. I'd honestly say, what the fuck? But I know Telltale would remember that. There's no specific release date other than 2015 just yet, but it will be released episodically, come on, it's Telltale, and Mojang promises it will be a cool game. So, you know what? Fuck it, I'm in.
Did you guys hear about that game Hatred when it was announced back in October? If you didn't, it's a game that basically trades on the controversy of video game violence by making the total aim of the game to kill as many innocent civilians as possible before you're killed in turn. Earlier this week, the game kicked off a Steam Greenlight campaign and then almost immediately disappeared, pulled down by Valve, who said at the time, "Based on what we see on Greenlight, we would not publish Hatred on Steam. As such, we'll be taking it down."
And that was the last we've ever heard of Hatred. It's officially gone. I'm just fucking with you. PC Master Race Messiah Gabe Newell swooped in after the game's removal to reinstate it to Greenlight. Gabe even wrote developer Destructive Creations a personal note apologizing for the decision and wishing them the best of luck on their new game. He most likely also wrote, "Nya nya 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 nya, suck it Doug Lombardi, I run this shit," and then erased it before sending.
Valve, fight, kiss, kiss, kiss. For a full hour of video game discussion, make sure you check out the patch this week for our thoughts on all the latest news. Oh, and a bit of a nerd out about Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, and I heard something happened to Ryan's gamer tag, but it definitely wasn't Gus's fault.
He was super happy about it. If esports are more your thing, check out the leaderboard where we discuss the Counter-Strike Team Shuffle and Twitch's Good Game Buy.
All right, now let's talk about movies and TV.
So many men have played the Caped Crusader himself, but one man is very confident that he is the one and only Batman, and that man is Michael Keaton. After Christian Bale admitted that he was jealous of Ben Affleck taking over the Bat, Keaton was asked if he too felt jealous. He put all that bullshit right to bed by saying no, and you know why? Because I'm Batman. No word yet on whether or not 50 Cent's PIMP spontaneously started playing after he said that, but I can believe.
Remember last week when we reported that the Sony hackers were threatening the company with some kind of dire consequences if they went ahead with the release of the interview? Well, strap in because it's about to get a whole lot more interesting. When the company didn't budge, the hackers turned their sights on moviegoers instead, issuing a public threat against anyone who planned to see the movie on its Christmas Day release with 9/11 level attacks on theaters, which immediately led to stars Seth Rogen and James Franco canceling their planned promotional appearances for the movie.
Major theater chains followed suit with the actors opting not to carry the film, which led to Sony fully scrapping the release of the movie. There was speculation on the internet whether or not the film was simply delayed, but Sony has since come out to say they have absolutely no plans for the film's release. So someday in the future, when machines have turned against us and we huddle around fires for warmth, we'll listen to special orders tell tale of a movie that vanished. And like 1,000 or 2 of them saw it because it's had screenings already. But they're gonna be special.
In retaliation for the cancellation, some theaters announced a cheeky screening of another comedy that takes aim at North Korea. We all know what that is, of course. It's Team America World Police, the 2004 movie by South Park creators Trey Parker and Matt Stone. Unfortunately for all of us, Paramount immediately said, hey, don't get us involved in this shit show, and immediately banned all screenings of that movie too. Well, guys, we'll always have Netflix. Reportedly, the hackers have now contacted Sony and promised to keep the rest of their data secret. For now, saying, "We still have your sensitive and private data. We ensure the security of your data unless you make additional trouble." What? They further demanded Sony wipe any trace of the movie from the internet, as if that were possible, and that if they ever release the movie in any way or allow it to leak, they'll let out all that dirty laundry, which really just makes you want to know like what it is that they have. President Obama has now weighed in as well, calling Sony's cancellation of the movie a mistake and expressing concern that this sets a precedent that will encourage anonymous and distant forces to successfully inhibit freedom of expression in the media.
So for America, we better friggin' see this film.
For freedom! As a result of this whole fiasco, Sony has now revised their policy on dealing with similar threats. For more, let's go to Sony.
So this week, you canceled the interview from being released in theaters. Is that correct?
Well, that's 100% inaccurate.
What part was wrong?
I can't think of anything fast enough, so you are correct.
People feel like you're caving to demands. Is that true?
I wouldn't say we're caving. I'd say we're giving in to terrorist demands as they make them.
That's what caving means.
Oh, okay, then yeah, I would say we're doing that. But what you have to understand is this is a small part of our broader anti-terrorism strategy.
And that is?
Well, they always say you should never give in to terrorist demands. But our philosophy is give in to every single terrorist demand every time.
Uh-huh.
You see, if you give the terrorists everything that they want every time, eventually they run out of things to ask for.
Really?
Yeah, so it started with this shutting down the interview. Bam! Done! Movie wasn't that great anyway. And then they were like, oh, okay, well, can you remake Final Fantasy VII for the PlayStation?
That was them?
Yeah! So I made a call. It's coming out next year. And then they asked me for a Coke. And then they asked for a ride to the mall.
So they're really losing steam.
One of them emailed yesterday just to say hi.
So I guess by giving them everything they wanted, you won?
We think of it as a win-win.
For a full hour of movie and TV talk, make sure you check out the newest episode of Screenplay. The movie of the week this week is The One I Love, and if you want to get a jump on next week's, you'll be watching Scrooged! And we're all going to get in the holiday spirit with Bill Murray.
I love Scrooged. Okay, so let's finish off the week with the biggest news in science and technology, because space. One of the not necessarily movie-related developments that came out of the Sony hack was the revelation that even though SOPA was defeated and shelved in 2012, Hollywood hasn't given up on it, and they see Google as the real enemy since links to illegal file-sharing services can frequently be found through its search engine, even though Google has been making unprecedented changes to its algorithms to surface legitimate sources of content instead. A coalition of studios comprised of the MPAA, Universal, Fox, Sony, Paramount, Warner Brothers, and Disney has been working to court state attorneys general for legislation against the search giant. Following this big reveal, Google has shot back, slamming the coalition's attempt to censor the internet, leading the MPAA to fire back in turn, accusing Google of assisting human trafficking through its search. So get your popcorn because it looks like this private war is now wide out in the open.
Amazon is already pretty speedy if you're as lazy as I am, but they decided to kick things up a notch or 12 by introducing Amazon Prime Now, a new service which offers delivery of 25,000 eligible products in under 1 hour for $7.99 or under 2 hours for free. Shit is so impressive, you guys. I'm gonna get so many paper towels. It's currently only available in certain parts of Manhattan, damn, but expansion to other major cities is planned for next year. Woo! One thing this Prime Now doesn't seem to have, though, naked delivery men.
Can I help you? Delivery from Rooster Teeth.
Oh, we just ordered that. Isn't that great, honey?
This week, NASA has made some huge announcements about Mars and what they've learned during the past 20 months the Curiosity rover has been sampling the red planet. The first is that during that period, there was a huge spike in methane, like 10 times the amount recorded in the periods before and after that. And I didn't get to make this joke in my news read, so I'm going to just make it right now. It's surprising to find methane on Mars because it's supposed to come from Uranus.
Nailed it! Mom joke!
While methane is normally a byproduct of organic chemical processes, it at least indicates that the planet is still chemically active. Further, organic compounds of carbon and hydrogen have been discovered in rock samples, and additional rock sampling has revealed more about the planet's loss of water several billion years ago. All in all, researchers believe evidence is building that even if Mars doesn't currently support any kind of complex life, it was capable of doing so in the past, making it the hipster of the solar system, getting all what's up with life before it was cool. That's it for the Know It All this week. Go forth and be merry.
We'll be back next week, same time, same place for another round of the week's biggest news. In the meantime, Rooster Teeth sponsors can catch new episodes of the Rooster Teeth podcast on Monday, Screenplay on Tuesday, The Patch on Wednesday, and a very Christmassy On the Spot on Thursday.
Ho, ho, ho. I wish we had cookies this time.
No, I ate them all. I ate 8 cookies that day.